Whether it's a huge life goal or just a simple conversation, such a simple conversation, maybe one you've been putting off, in any area of this, we have to get clear before going into any form of conversation, before going after any goal. What is the clear outcome that we want? Because if we haven't got clarity on what we want, then we're always going to feel lost. We're always going to feel confused. So the first question that we always need to ask, whether it might be a massive goal of a huge financial business or career goal, it might be, oh God, I really need to have this conversation with that person and it needs to happen today. What is the result that I'm looking for? Because if it's generally a conversation, we're not really looking for an argument, or we're not looking for confrontation, we're looking for an outcome. So again, sometimes it's over and above this mindset of proving we're right or getting our point across. What's the outcome that I'm looking for? And how do I get there as soon as possible? And the same in business, the same with fitness, the same with muscle building, the same with fat loss, the same with everything else. If we're not clear on what the result is that we're looking for, then everything is going to feel confused. So 3 questions that are reframed that essentially say exactly the same thing. So always ask these questions. What's the result that I'm looking for? What's the dream outcome? And what is it that I really want? Same 3 questions, just reframed differently. Because if we're not clear on any of those, and we know like one of the basic human needs is certainty and uncertainty, or 2 of them. So if we're not ultra clear on what we want, then the reality is we'll never take the action. And like the analogy that I wrote down was, it's like trying to drive to a destination that you don't even really know what that destination is. So I've got in a car and I know I need to go somewhere, but I'm not clear on exactly where that is. So within minutes, we're going to be lost, confused, frustrated. Uncertainty will kick in, fear will kick in, and then that will lead to inaction, because we'll never have enough certainty to take consistent action. So when we're thinking about maybe how we're feeling towards a goal, or why we're not where we want to be yet, or the speed at which we're getting there, as I discussed this morning, it's almost certainly because we're not ultra clear on the outcome. So we have to rewind. There's going to be 3 questions that we're going to implement today, and they have to be asked in this order. And I'll tell you why at the end, why it will become so confusing if not. So these 3 questions are: 1, what exactly am I working towards? I'm not talking about a loose goal. I want to lose a bit of weight. I'd like to make a bit more money. I'd like my relationship to be better, or any of these things. You have to know exactly what it is. If you want to make more money, how much money do you want to make? If you want your body to look a certain way, exactly how do you want your body to look? If you want a better relationship or better friendships or better anything, how exactly do you want those relationships or friendships to look? If you want a new house or a new car, exactly what is the house or exactly what is the car? You have to get clear, because clarity will create action, whereas uncertainty will create hesitation and inaction. This is why most people stay stuck, because they don't even know what they want. So if we don't know what we want, how can we ever take action towards it? It's like going on a drive to a destination that doesn't exist. So the second question is, and this is the most important question for me, what's the purpose? So I want this body, but why do I want that body? I want to make this amount of money, but why do I want to make that amount of money? Because if there's not a purpose to it, it's just a meaningless, emotionless target. So many people get lost in wanting to make money. All money really does is give you freedom. It's just a vehicle for more freedom. This is why so many businessmen and women are so screwed up, because they actually do the opposite. They're that focused on making money that they have zero freedom. So they weren't clear on what the purpose was in the first place, so they're always just chasing the money. and that white rabbit of success runs away. The more we chase, the more it runs. The more we have purpose and mission, the more we attract. Again, the same with the body. You know, why do you want to lose weight? How's it going to improve your life? Why do you want to get fit? Why do you want to improve your mental health? Why do you want to feel more motivated? Why do you want to have a better body? What's the outcome? What's the feeling? What's the why? Because if there isn't any purpose, even though we've got ultra clear on the goal, if there's no purpose or meaning towards that goal, then again, you're never going to take action towards it. And then the third question is, which we're going to come on to at the end, what's my plan to get it? So very simplistic terms, exactly what do I want? Get clear. Exactly why do you want it? Get clear. And then we need to move on to what's the plan to get it? All three are important, and it has to be in that action, in that order, which is what I'm going to come on to, and the reason why. And the reason some people put the questions in the other order, and those are the people that never take action. So imprint those three questions daily. What do you want? Why do you want it? And what's your plan to get it? Because if you don't know all three, you're always going to feel lost. You're going to feel distracted. You're going to feel unmotivated, and you will drift through day after day after day after day on autopilot, going nowhere, probably slipping into negative habits and blaming, complaining and justifying. Because when we're not focused on what we want, what are we focused on? What we don't have. When we're not focused on what's working for us, what are we focused on? What's not working for us? When we're not focused on who we love, what are we focused on? Who doesn't love us? It's an exact opposite, positive and negative all the time. As I've said so many times, they can't exist without each other. So get really specific, and then I've written down some more great questions for you to ask yourself on a daily basis once we've got clear on what we want, why we want it, and what the plan is to get it. So the first question is, what is the one thing that I'm committed to achieving no matter how long it takes? You have to have that in your life. If you've not got something you're going after, you will drift. So what's the one thing I'm committed to achieving no matter how long it takes? Secondly, what's my reason for wanting to achieve this that's so strong that I'll stay committed when it gets tough? Again, this is why most people fail. Like, I would not have done that 200-mile run without the reason and the meaning behind it, because it would have just been for ego. And I also would have quit when I got injured on the 170th mile. But the reason and the meaning with both Alfie and Logan behind it was so strong that I stayed committed when it got tough. So you have to have that reason behind it. And then the third question is, how can I ensure that I stay focused on this every day? Because if you're not focused on abundance, you'll be focused on lack. If you're not focused on gratitude, you'll be focused on scarcity. If you're not focused on courage, you'll be focused on fear. If you're not focused on love, you'll be focused on hate, 100% of the time. So our brains have something called an RAS, which you may have heard of, which is a reticular activating system. Now, this determines what you're focused on every day, and it determines what you really want in life. So it's why when you decide that you want a certain car in a certain model, in a certain colour, all you see is that car. There's one in every car park. There's one on the school run. Everywhere you go, you see that car. People are smiling because they're realising that's true. And I've even done this with mindsets, that's things in the car, or in certain situations where you can close your eyes, you can listen to a mindset video, or you can be out walking, and whatever colour you think of. So I was doing it with this mindset guy, and he's saying, think of the colour you're thinking of. I'm like, right, thinking of yellow. Can't remember where I was walking, and literally as soon as you open your eyes, whether it was the yellow on the pedestrian crossing, a yellow on a BP sign, a yellow double yellow line, your mind just zooms in on whatever's yellow because you've been saying yellow, 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 yellow. And this is the same with your goals and your focus. If it's on your mind all the time, and again, the same with, abundance versus lack and scarcity. If you're focused on having enough, you're always going to feel like you have enough. And the same goes the opposite. So your brain will always find more of what it's focused on, 100% of the time. So positive focus equals positive feelings equals a positive life. Negative focus equals negative feelings equals a negative life. This is why some people are so fucked and they end up depressed. Because their brain is just hard focusing on anything that's bad, everything that's gone wrong, who's not serving them, what they don't have, why it's different for them, who they can blame, why they can justify, until it's just hardwired to focus on that. And that's when people go into the pit, because they can't focus on anything else. The reality is it works exactly the same the other way. This is why successful people just fail and fail and fail and fail again, and it never bothers them, because they're that focused on what they want, why they want it, and what they need to do to get it, that nothing knocks them off their rhythm. So our brain will constantly find ways to get there if we're constantly focused on it. It's like, like the laser beams in movies, right? When military aeroplanes fire rockets, and it lasers and it just changes course and it changes direction, and it will always find its target. The brain is the same when we're laser focused, but if it doesn't have that target, then it will just drift off. Now, the other big thing is, and this is massive for me as well, I think as well as being clear on what we want and why we want it, we also have to make sure it's exciting. And I've said this before, there's nothing more exciting than a goal that you don't know how to achieve. If you're trying to achieve something, like this is my bugbear with people that say, I just want to get back to my best. I just want to get back to where I was. Well, back is boring, or you'd still be there. It was that boring that you got distracted and wandered off. So we need new. We need exciting. So it's not just the fact that we need to know what we want and why we want it. It needs to be exciting and it needs to test you. This is why I went from 1 marathon to 10 marathons to 50 miles to 100 miles to 200 miles. It had to be something new and exciting to get my juices flowing enough to want to do the work every day to move towards it. Once I'd run a marathon was boring. So we need to be pushing the bar. This is the art of stretching. We need to be going to new levels that makes us feel excited. And a lot of this will come down to, and this is what I did with all of the runs from the 50 to the 100 to the 200. I visualized how I was going to feel at the end. Not just what I wanted to achieve, why I wanted to achieve it, what the purpose was, and making a plan to get it. How's it going to make me feel? And even that, the 100-mile run, that's what got me through. The last 10 miles was horrific. And all I kept thinking, how are you going to feel at the end? How are you going to feel at the end? How are you going to feel at the end? You've got two options right now. You can quit and you're going to feel fucking horrific and want to top yourself in the morning. Bit of an over-exaggeration that, but you get what I'm saying. Because you ran 90 miles and then you quit, and then there's going to be the self-loathing and the self-doubt, and you're going to hate yourself, and guilt, resentment, letting people down. Or you just need to push through this and you're going to feel amazing. So again, when things get tough, visualize those two routes. How do I want to feel? How am I going to feel when I achieve this? And then take it away from you as well. Not just how am I going to feel, who's it going to impact? Who's it going to inspire? Who's watching? Who's going to be proud? So it's not always just about you. But again, we have to practice this mindset on a daily basis. It's the same as training. It's the same as business. It's the same as everything. What we do, we have to do well, and we have to do it daily. So revisit this every second of every day that you can. Every 5, 10, 15, 20 times a day. Ask yourself these same questions to realign. What's my focus? What are my desires? What do I want? What am I working towards? Is my focus clear? Am I on track? Are my behaviors aligning with the answers to all of these questions? Because we can't be saying, I want a world-class business, but I haven't shown up on my social media for 3 days. I want to make loads of money, but I've not been focusing on my business for 3 days. I want to lose weight, but I've not been to the gym for 3 days, and I'm sat in the fucking beer garden drinking beer and eating chips. We can't just go, this is what I want, this is why I want it, this is what my plan is to get it, and then go and do something that completely doesn't fucking align with the answers to all 3 of those questions. That's what so many people do. So again, ask yourself every hour of every day. Of course, we need some balance, but, you know, remind yourself, what do I want? Ask yourself again, what do I really want? When you become so focused on moving towards what you really want, you become that military rocket. That everything else is just noise. Doesn't even register a lot of it because you're laser beamed focused on what you want, why you want it, and you have a plan to get there. So this is you guys know I've used this analogy so many times, from probably the first time that some of you spoke to me right up until now. But I love using the car, the journey, and the sat-nav as the destination. So the best analogy I've ever heard is where most people get stuck when they come on board, when they want help with their mental health and their physical health. And this goes back to the first part. Right, what is it that you want to achieve? Not really sure. Right, just stop. If you don't know that, ignore this entire training until you've answered that question. Fuck the why, fuck the how, fuck the plan, fuck any of that. It has to come afterwards. It's like, this is the analogy, right? It's like calling an Uber, and when the driver gets to your door, him saying, hey Julie, where do you want to go? And you go, don't really know, but not here. I don't like it here. Here doesn't make me happy. Here's shit. I don't want to be here. Well, where do you want to go? I don't know. Uber's going to go, I'm fucking off then, see ya. But that is the reality of people try and move to phase 2 and phase 3 and phase 4 without getting clear on they want to go. So then what happens is, so let's say we get clear, right? Random postcode, S21, 4DQ, right. Ultra destination, that's where I want to go. And we put that destination in the sat-nav. And the sat-nav charts a map all the way back. Right, that's the plan, which again comes afterwards. But what do we have to have before we have the plan? We need to have some petrol in the tank. And the petrol's your energy. And the energy comes from your why, your purpose, your meaning, your reason for doing. Again, you can have the destination, you can have the perfect plan. If you've not got any fucking petrol in the tank, you're still going absolutely nowhere. If you don't remind yourself daily, i.e. turn the sat-nav off, what do you do on the sat-nav when you're driving? Check, 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 check. That's what you should be doing with your goals every day. Am I going in the right direction? Do I need to go left here? Do I need to go right? Because if you just turn the sat-nav off, this is what a lot of people do. This is your classic New Year's resolutioners. Set the goal. By the 3rd of January, they can't even remember it. And they're like, oh, really lost. Of course you are. You've not checked your sat-nav for the last 3 minutes. So that fuel in the tank is the energy to get you there. And that comes from the purpose and the meaning for doing it. So again, what is it we want? Why do we want it? The petrol. And then we can focus on the plan to get there. But if we've not got those first 2 things, the latter becomes completely unimportant. Yet this is why everyone goes wrong. Because they look for the plan first. What's the first thing someone does when they want to lose weight? Goes on their Facebook and posts some stupid chav comment like, what's next best diet plan? Well, you haven't even assessed what you want, why you want it, what the problem is, any of those things. You're just looking for the plan. And you're also looking for the one that's quick without any pain. Again, people do this in business. This is why thousands of people get ripped off in business. Because they look for the solution to their marketing problems or any problems within their business before realigning, right, what am I actually working towards? Why do I want to get there? Right, now I understand all these things. Now I've understand the problem. I can now start to think about the why. But we go to the last thing. So it's not why, not I want to lose weight, but why? I want to look better, but why? I want more confidence, but why? I want to make more money, but why? If that's not there, the tank's just going to go to empty. You've got the plan, you've got the empty tank. Tank's going to run out within 500 meters. And then you'll go back to looking for what's the next best diet plan, or what's the next best way to build big arms, or what's the next best day to get abs. What's the next best way to make 6 figures, and so on and so on. So again, like, drill down on this, because this is what keeps you going when it gets tough. And keeping going when it gets tough, which is what achieves your dream life. So again, I love these, right? Questions of the steering wheel of the mind. Whatever you want to achieve, why is achieving it a non-negotiable? Like, I don't want to make money for the sake of making money. I want to make money so I have time and freedom. I want to make money so I never have to say no to Logan for anything because I can't afford it. I want to be in great shape because I want to live as long as I can and be a role model to him and impact and inspire people to change lives that they can do the same. There has to be the reason for doing, or you're just going to do it for a short time and then quit. It's so important. So another great question, why is failure not an option? So once we've gone, this is what I want, this is why I want it, why is achieving this non-negotiable? Why is it important to me? Why is failure not an option? And then that needs to be journaled so deeply, I promise you, that then we move on to the plan. You can't skip those bits or you'll just go round and round and round in circles. You can't do those bits and then not remind yourself daily, or you'll just keep quitting. Because it's often not about skill. It's not about talent. I'm certainly not the most talented runner in the world. It's about being relentless. It's about the meaning being that strong that you don't quit. And it's about being able to keep going when it gets tough, when you have setbacks, and when it doesn't happen as fast as you want it to, or as fast as you believe it should have. Make sure you read this morning's post in the WhatsApp group. That's when 90% of people fail. They want everything quickly. What can I do to get here quicker? Well, whatever you do to get there quicker, you're going to have to keep going and doing when you get there anyway. You don't get to having a great body and then you just stop everything and you keep it. You don't get to having a great business and then stop everything and keep that business. Whatever you're doing, you have to keep doing or you'll lose what you've got. So it's how do I get there consistently on something that I can maintain forever? And that will come through being consistent and relentless over time, not consistent and relentless for a short period. Anyone can smash it for 8 weeks. Smash it for 8 years. That's the key to true success. So the reason why the how is the least important, but yeah, it's the first thing people look for. The plan is least important. And the plan can actually be dangerous and can be the biggest cause of inaction, because most of us don't know, including me, how to get what we want. You'd have heard the phrase, you can find the who, not the how. This is why this is why we did Design Your Dream Life at Mindset Mastery. This is why we've done the hot pen technique multiple times. Most people, if they drill down and journal, they know what they want, but they don't know how to get it, so they don't even try. This is why the hot pen technique is so important, because it bypasses the bullshit. Most people know exactly what they want their dream house to look like, and their dream car, and their dream partner and their dream life and their dream holiday and their dream body. But they fast forward to, but I'm never going to get that. I don't know how to get that. I'm not good enough to get that. I'm not going to be consistent enough to get that, so I won't even try. So thinking of the how before the others is what creates the uncertainty. Uncertainty creates fear, fear creates inaction. That's why people stay stuck their whole lives. So you don't need to know how to lose 3 stone. You don't need to know how to get to 8% body fat. You don't need to know how to make £1 million or get your dream house, your dream car, your dream holiday, your dream partner, your dream life. All you need to know is 1, exactly what you want. 2, exactly why you want it. So you're inspired on enough of a level to do the work every single day. Because you don't need to know the how. There's hundreds and thousands of people that know how to get you what you want that can help you do it. That's why that phrase is, you don't need the how, you need the who. So the key to this is having the certainty to take action. This is what kills procrastination, and this is what kills hesitation. And that certainty from taking action comes from questions 1 and 2, not from question 3. And if we keep auto resetting to question 3, as most people do, that's what leads to inaction and hesitation. So wherever you're at, wherever you've gone to at this moment in time and at this stage, use this to a reset. Because if I'd have come on the chat at the beginning of this training and said, right, guys, I want every single one of you right this second to tell me exactly what you want, exactly how you want your life to look, there would have been huge indecision, pauses, hesitation, and uncertainty. And that's what leads to inaction. That's what leads to procrastination. Now, to the level, you guys have, heard me talk about mission statements and when I've written mine and when I've repeated it and stuff. But take time out to do that today. If you do one thing today, do this, to get clear on exactly what it is that you want. Because without that, you'll never be inspired to take action. And then move on to the second phase. And don't even worry about the how for now. But you should know this if you really want to move forward with this, you should know this on such a deep level, even if it's a full paragraph, as it should be, that I should say, Jane, what is it that you want? And you shouldn't even have to look at the paper, look at anything. You should just be able to recite it. And when you remind yourself every day of that what, and you remind yourself every day of that why, the how will look after itself. That's when you will become that rocket. That's when you will become that laser beam. That's when you will just stay focused on it, because you're reminding yourself of it every day on such a deep level that it becomes all that you're focused on. And that's when the reticular activating system kicks in. That's when your goals become the dream car in the dream color, that as soon as you start thinking about it, everywhere you go, you see it. And that's the level that we need to get to, because as we said in these previous trainings, we're all so quick to talk about how we are feeling, positive or negative. But focus creates feelings. Feelings only ever come from what you're focused on. So if you're laser focused every single minute of every single day on exactly what you want, exactly why you want it, then all the feelings are going to be around excitement, prosperity, abundance, happiness, motivation, and all the positive things. Whereas if we're not focused on that, and because we haven't got clear on that, and we haven't taken the time out, and we haven't journaled it, and we're not reminding ourselves, again, the mind will just auto reset to focusing on what we don't have, not what's not working for us, what's going wrong in the world, what problems we're facing, what challenges are going on, and X, Y, and Z. But we have to remember every second of every day that we control that focus. And the easiest way to do it is reminding ourselves every minute of every day, getting clear on exactly what we want and exactly why we want it. Guys, have an awesome day.